So, as mentioned, we are joined by a farmer this morning, and as I said in my intro, utmost respect for those in this particular field. This is a calling. You don't just jump into farming just so. It's a calling, it's a vocation. It's one that, to me, when you consider farmers and their contribution, it's, you know, words can't express. And Shiraz joins me now, Shiraz Khan, as we get into the particular field, talk about the dynamics, some of the issues, and some of the solutions. Mr. Khan, great to have you on this morning.
Oh, pleasant morning to you again, and pleasant morning to all your viewers and your listeners. I want to thank you for that commentary this morning. I wish a lot of people feel that way and them kind of thing. You know, I'm happy and proud to be a farmer and all of that, because I have some of my very, very beautiful locally grown vegetables, fruit starting to have a little later. You know.
Look at that. Organic too, eh? It looking
organic too. And my pawpaw here.
Good. Look at the size of that pawpaw.
All locally grown. And not forgetting my cup of my goat milk.
Yes. Oh, you mean. Listen, when you consider farming and food security and the fact that, you know, people paying more at the veggie depot, the supermarket, the market generally, what's causing that, you know, and what makes, again, what makes it possible that we have to, let's say for avocado, so it's a two-part question. So we're talking firstly, I guess you'll answer in terms of the price point, but it baffles me, something like avocado, zabuka, I love it, whether it's a pilau, you name it. And when I talk to my Vegemart person there, you know, the man tell me the avocado coming in from Dominican Republic.
Dominica, yeah.
How come?
Well, you know, history is very important when you deal with things, because, you know, we celebrate Hazy Crawford in '76. We'll always show when that day come, and we'll always show when Penny Commission won the competition, and when Fitzwilliams and when Brian Lara scored. History is very important. What have happened to us in the past? We have treated agriculture as such a bastard child in our economy that the history showed that even way back into the 1980s, mid-80s, we were exporting hatching eggs in this country. We were producing a lot more. But then what happened is globalization take place. And we have a lot more of land that was involved in agriculture being bulldozed for housing. So you find a guy who has an estate, have avocados and mangoes and all of these things, right? When you realize the amount of last me facing, the market, because what happened in the 1980s, at that time, Prime Minister Robinson, he closed down the CMA and give growth to a set of middlemen. So Jason, what happened is that when you go to the market and you see produce, don't blame the farmer, because what happened is that the middleman takes it from you. For let us use tomato as an example. Tomato, let us use that as an example. You go to the to the wholesale market, and the farmer get $2 or $3 or up to $3 to $4 for a price of a pound of tomato. Right in front of you, the middleman sell it for about $8 to $10. And then the vendor had to raise up that price when he go down to that. Or the fruit shed vendor, or the vegetable fed vendor. So you have that changing a couple times.
So it's greed.
So what happened? It's greed, but what happened is that when they closed down the central marketing agency and the meat processors and all these other industries, because of things was coming in, globalization started taking place. So you have a greed, and for years I've been complaining about those middlemen, because sometimes a farmer, if he go there because he buys up on bulk, and when you go there to the wholesale market and you don't get your things sold, you have to come out on the road and hustle and sell it for much cheaper. So the middlemen are digging out the ice.
Can we regulate the price? Can we take this to probably, let's say, the powers that be? Because again, look at lime. Look at lime, Shiraz. I used to play cricket with lime long time. You're batting lime. Lime now is Mr. Lime. In some places.
Relator sang that in his calypso on food prices. That lime was free long time and is now $1 for one, but that's in the 1980s. So just like everything else had to go up, because remember, the farmers of this country are not subsidized in any way whatsoever. right? So you have a system where, and this
No,
comes back to...
but okay, Shiraz,
the
let me stick up in there. But don't the farmers get stuff VAT-free? Do you all get, I think there are certain benefits to farming, right?
No, that is a myth of a lot of people. 80 to 90% of the farmers are not registered farmers because they don't have land tenure. I sure you hear me speaking a lot about land tenure. So if you are not registered, you cannot benefit. Two years ago, when Minister Colin Burr said that farmers enjoy tax-free. Yes, we enjoy tax-free, but who could benefit from it? Majority of the farmers are being squatters and don't have land tenure. So you'll find that they are the one that suffers.
And based on what you said earlier, even those with land now using it to build apartments and to put up housing, because I look at Arangwes. When I pass in the back of Arangwes to get away from the Arangwes main road, I remember back in the day, all that was agriculture. Now, apartments right there in Arangwes.
Yeah, but if a young fella saw his father and his grandfather suffer on agriculture and always fighting to eke a living out of agriculture, what do you expect? Because everybody wants to educate their children, right? And so this educated guy now have this ability to convert the land into other things. So you can't vex with people for doing that, Jason. You have the people need to live. But let me give you a scenario, and I want to use the rice industry as a scenario to understand where we are going, right? Because sometimes when you hear the mustard and ketchup people talking, you really want to understand how educated they are on a subject. Jason, what had happened with the rice industry, right? When I came into Castleford in the 1980s, 84, 85, it used to have vehicles lined up from on the highway all the way, which is a mile and a half, to Castleford Rice Mill to sell their rice, right? So what had happened is that we had a lot more farmers in the Woodland, Penal, Barrackpore, all up in Manzalina, Beach was planting rice and coming to Castleford to sell it. We used to have vehicles, wallahi, I swear by Almighty Allah, I'm talking the truth here, right? We had vehicles lined up from the highway coming all the way into Castleford. Used to have farmers on the road in Castleford because it wasn't as busy there like now. They used to dry their rice because sometimes it have a little moisture in it. And what happened is that eventually, because of globalization, we started to import rice. But what have happened in the last, let us say the last 10 years, what have happened is that the farmers, two people in agriculture released a small subsidy in this country. The dairy farmers, which is being subsidized to Nestle, so it's not the farmers really get subsidy, it's Nestle get the subsidy from the government, not the farmer. And the rice industry. We have rice farmers who are producing so much rice in this country. It started under the last administration, under the UNC, in their last term of office, where farmers was taking 6 months to get their subsidy from the government, from NFM, right? And so on. And then what have happened is that the year after, now people have waited a year to get their subsidy. But what is the significant thing like that? Is that when the imported rice coming in, they wouldn't enjoy the subsidies. So when you destroy the farmer and get a local rice out of the market, the wholesaler, the importers, and them having a field day. So you can't be paying the price for imported rice and subsidizing your local farmers. So there was a big battle between that. Do you understand me? You understand me, Jason?
Of course, and now the food import bill keeps going up, and we have to pay more. Let me ask you though, before we wrap things up, what are some of
What? Before what?
What are some of the recommendations? What are some of the at least if you had a audience with the Minister of Agriculture now, or let's say people who can really make the decision to turn this around, what would be your recommendation?
Jason, in 2007, when the Prime Minister, Patrick Manning at that time, had this finding the solution for food prices, there were 3 or 4 people requesting from the Prime Minister at that time 500 acres to grow corn for animal feed, because we saw the problem happening because the prices keep escalating. We have placed a proposal since 2007, and we did put it before the proposal to the Minister of Agriculture, and also we sent it to the post-COVID committee. But now you're hearing, after we met with the Minister on Wednesday, on Saturday we hear that they're going to have a private partnership to bring cheaper feed on the market. We are saying, Jason, that it could increase the production of cassava, sweet potato, and dasheen, and so on. and have an increase of those things going into agriculture and the animal feed. Now, if you could recall, we once had a company named Taba. I don't know if you know that company. Taba.
Give me some details on it.
Well, Taba used to be one of the companies, because it was under the Prime Minister, Patrick Manning, that Taba were there to put on the market potato chips, cassava chips. We was making cassava flour. We were making sweet potato flour. But lo and behold, when the government changed in 2010, that was abandoned. It was abandoned. And then when the government changed in 2020, we didn't see it fit to bring it back up. So when we condemning one another about not doing something, you have to understand between the lines, we are just as guilty as the last one in some aspects.
Before we get some closing comments from Shiraz, let's make a promise to have this conversation ongoing. You know, at least whether it be once, twice a month, we need to really get that perspective, because food security is everybody's business. I'll let you have a chance to put in your closing comments, Mr. Khan. Go right ahead.
Okay. You know, Jason, if you look at it, right, you have a commodity like rice, where the farmer is given a base price of 70 cents and an incentive of 50 cents based on grade, or 30 cents or 10 cents. You have a commitment of a price that is you're going to get. But you look at it, you have a price of the farmer going to get 70 cents of, let us say we get 70 and the highest grade of 50 cents. So that'll give you what? $1.20. What we are paying for rice now is beyond $4 and $5 a pound, right? None of our local rice that is produced and collected at NFM goes to the local market. It goes into making pet food. You hear me?
Wow.
None of the local rice produced by the people that sell to the NFM goes into pet food. We are using only imported rice to mill and send it out to the farmer. So the problem you have is that the dog food is being subsidized rather than the human rice. And let me give you an example of how difficult our feed situation is in this country. You recall just I think it was earlier this year or late last year, the price of bread went up because of the flour price.
I remember, yeah.
And what happened is that the minister intervened, which I think it was sort of a camouflage, because if you are the minister and you have a board that you are in charge of, how could price of flour go up and you didn't know? Okay, so she come like a knight in armor and said, all right, we're going to reduce the price, and we went down to about from 20-something% increase to just 8% increase. Lo and behold, 3 weeks ago, we got a 20% increase on our feed. Now hear this, wheat is what is imported, and the main product out of wheat is flour. The byproduct of wheat, which is the wheat middling, goes into animal feed. But we are paying now what you take away from the country paying on flour and now put it into the hands of the farmer. So you see chicken price going up because of the feed going up in an international way. What it is that we have done, and when we have been talking about it, she came on television and said we are only making mischief but we see this happening, because when you look at the international market, the price of the commodity is going to continue to escalate. What are we doing to mitigate
Shiraz,
between the farmers and the consumers of this country?
What I'll tell you, we'll stick up in there for now, because what you're seeing here, the revelations this morning, it's I know, giving many who are looking on this morning a deeper perspective. I'll talk to the producer so we can ensure very soon we continue this discussion. I want to thank you for your time this morning, and let's keep in touch.
Thank you, and have a good day.
Same to you, Shiraz Khan, farmer. Food security is everybody's business.